Hello everyone, today we're going to take a look at Esther Peterson. Who is Esther Peterson? Esther Peterson was a women's advocate who fought for equal pay under the law. She created the Presidential Commission on the Status of Women in the 1960s that helped to record the discrimination women faced. She is in the National Women's Hall of Fame as one of the nation's most effective and beloved catalysts for change, and she received a Presidential Medal of Freedom in 1981 for her years of activism. What did she do? She fought to change the world for women in a positive way by making decisions that benefited women when she was the head of the Women's Bureau in the Department of Labor, by influencing and reforming markets by utilizing the purchasing power of the consumer for social good, and by changing public policy for equal pay between women and men. Esther Peterson helped change the workforce for women in her time as the head of the Women's Bureau in the Department of Labor under Kennedy. Her goals were to advance the equality of women, and she wished to, quote, do something to benefit the women with whom she had come in contact in her political campaigns and in her work in the trade union movement. And she was hoping to kind of give some visibility to their problems. And there had always been a long battle as to whether or not we should pass an amendment to the Constitution declaring women equal. It had always bothered her, the position that we took in the trade union movement, that we did not want this amendment. This is one of the problems she had discussed with Kennedy and with Arthur Goldberg in one of the conversations they had shortly after she took the job. She hoped they could find a new approach to this problem and come up with something sensible. Both of them asked that she explore this a bit, and it was around that time that she came up with this idea of having a commission on the status of women and asking Mrs. Roosevelt to be chairman. So the reason we got this commission on the status of women going was to see if we could come up with some more constructive answers to this question of equality, legal equality for women in the country, end quote. When it came to the markets, Peterson was heavily influenced by the National Consumers League belief that we should use purchasing power to guide social good. She wanted a consumer movement that would benefit and include all of society. This idea of having active consumers wield their purchasing power in such a way would protect the consumers, regulate on their behalf, and create alliances in business as agents of change. When it came to changing public policy for equal pay, Peterson wanted to create a special presidential commission that explored the social and economic status of women in the U.S. And she wanted to pass a congressional act that focused on the idea of equal pay for working women. After she became the head of the Women's Bureau in the Department of Labor under Kennedy, she began lobbying the White House for an executive order that would create the Presidential Commission for the Status of Women. She successfully managed to convince Kennedy to issue an executive order, Executive Order 10980, creating the President's Commission on the Status of Women that was signed in December of 1961. In conclusion, Esther Peterson faced many challenges because she was a woman, but she still fought to advance women by making insightful decisions when she was the head of the Women's Bureau, by influencing and reforming markets, and by striving for equal pay under the law. She is truly a hero for women and deserves her place in the National Women's Hall of Fame for all her accomplishments. Thanks so much for listening.